What's up? What is up? Well, the markets aren't up, but it wasn't a very exciting sell-off either. I mean, it was just kind of like a constantly drift, kind of lower, typical kind of bear market action. Um, the VIX actually peaked early today, as you might imagine, which is again pretty consistent with not much going on. I mean, again, it's really been a real challenge. The trading environment has been not what you would call the best, right? It's been rather challenging as you look, but again, that's part of the business as well. What's up? Yep. And we say, Marion, how are you? I mean, that's part of the business as well. Again, there's a lot of components that we have to deal with in this business, and that's just one of them. Okay. I mean, again, what can I tell you? Right? Just because you decide to trade doesn't mean that you hit the lottery tomorrow. you know, it's a grinded out business that is a constant grind at all times. Okay. I own WMB, PSX, and Oxy in the energy sector. I don't know if it's going down. I don't think so. I mean, it's going down recently, but I don't, listen, I don't think we've solved the problems. Okay. Are the hedge fund people saying, well, they're selling when they're in trouble? They're not selling right now, but, listen, anything is possible. I mean, you've had a hell of a run in those energy stocks, and it depends when you get in. I mean, I don't know when you bought them. I mean, I bought Oxy at about $10. Okay. So, again, I don't have I don't have a crystal ball. I think crude oil is going to all-time highs. Okay. I think natural gas is going a lot higher, even though we're short at the moment. We're short crude too at the moment. Okay. But if you're investing in them, then they should be hedged and there should be nothing to think about. And if you're trading them, then you've probably made enough money that you may want to look for another area. Again, I don't have that answer for you. I mean, again, just depends on I don't know what you do. I don't know your investing style. So I can't answer specifically to that question. But I think energy is going higher. Okay. I mean, we've already seen, Russia shutting down the Nord 1. Okay. Supposedly for maintenance for 10 days. Okay. Is it for maintenance or is it they want to pull at China? Okay. And shut down an economy for no reason. Okay. China shut down Macau now, which obviously was very detrimental to Wynn and Las Vegas Sands. Does anybody here really believe that it's a COVID issue that they're shutting down because of that? I hope you don't believe that because it's a bunch of bullshit. Okay. I mean, this is a way to really step on the weakness of the administration. Okay. That's what you're seeing in many parts of the world is those who are stepping on the throat of the United States because of the weak administration that we're running. Okay, because we're willing to give away everything. So, again, do you think Nord 1 will open up again? Or are they going to jack prices even so much higher than they already are? Okay. In Europe, they pay, I don't know, 5 or 6 times what we pay for natural gas. So, again, there's too many, we'll call them coincidences, which there is no coincidences. Just like the natural gas pipeline that blew up again. I mean, there's so many things going on. Okay. And each one of them, in my eyes, is basically the alliances of Saudi Arabia, Russia, China, and others that are trying to punish a very, very weak administration. Okay, and unfortunately, the administration is trying to weaken us at the same time. I mean, you can like if you like what's going on, God bless. Okay, but I don't know how anybody can like what's going on in this country today. Okay, we had that shooting last Monday, July 4th, in Highland Park, 2 miles from my house. Okay, one of my friends got shot in the ankle. Okay, just injured, but again, and what's the first words out of his mouth? Gun control. Okay, let's take away the guns from the people who buy them legally, so that we can let the criminals have all the guns. Okay, again, these are things that are very problematic to our future. Now, for me, as I tell you, I'm old, so where am I going? But certainly, you should be worried about your kids, your grandchildren, and those, because they're the ones that are going to get suffer and stuck with the ridiculous bill that they're creating for absolutely zero reason. Okay. Why aren't we doing more manufacturing in this country? Okay. There's plenty of people that aren't working, right? Yet you had your president bragging about a great jobs report. How about they still have not replaced all the jobs from COVID? Okay. And people don't want to work now. You see some of the places offering $30 and $35 an hour I saw every morning I drive when I go to the health club. There's a delicatessen there looking for a counter guy for $35 an hour. Okay. McDonald's paying $18, $19, $20 an hour. Okay. So you want to talk about minimum wage, and this is what you have to, I think, remember. Okay. Is that, the minimum wage, when it was originally put in, was for women and children. Okay, slave labor. It was the same purpose of what unions were back then. They've all outlived the free market system of wages. All right. Right now, you can't hire anybody anyways. I mean, you can get paid a fortune, in perspective, and the minimum wage. Okay, almost anywhere. Okay, because again, the jobs are there, but nobody wants to work. And everybody is depending, not everybody, let me rephrase that, but too many people are depending on too much of the government handout. And guess who gets to pay for that? Okay. Guess who gets to pay for all the people that don't want to work? Can you unring the bell on guns? Get earphones monitor matched? Yeah, it's just it's a tragedy at what the current administration wants to do with everything, with every part of history, every part of the Constitution. They want to rip it apart. They want to shred the United States Constitution. Okay. I don't know. I'm not for that. I don't know if you are or not, but again, if you are, hey, listen, the one thing I know is we're still kind of free, or we're as free as the government allows us to be. Okay. But we are still, in the world order, we're still the freest country that there is, and certainly you can bet that there's going to be some kind of trouble coming up here at some point, from a revolution standpoint, because how long are you going to put up with this? How long are you going to put up with this taxation without representation? I mean, we went to war once for that, okay, but yet they between the rising dollar, and remember the fiat currency system is as fraudulent as it gets. That may be the biggest Ponzi scheme ever. Okay, the Federal Reserve and the currency is probably the biggest Ponzi scheme there ever was. Okay. The difference is they can do it legally. Okay, they can continue to create new money. Okay, which really, what does it really do? It really just lessens the value of the money that you're holding. Okay, this is the flaw in the Keynesian economic theory and everything. And again, I'm never going to say that there's a 100% better theory. I think that a combination of the different economic systems would be the perfect. Okay, but of course, try to get that through. Okay, try to tell the government that they can't spend at will, and that goes to every administration in my lifetime. Okay, that is not just this administration. Okay, they say, Ash, how you doing, buddy? Okay, and that is not just what's happening now. I mean, listen, this has been going on. We talk about how big the debt is, but how big is it in compared to real dollars? It's inflationary like anything else. Okay, but again, we have a ton of problems here. You've got AOC, the bitch, okay, that hates America, okay, that wants to tax the rich who pay more taxes than anybody and doesn't pay her own taxes, though. Okay, and we haven't heard much about that. I mean, it's not a huge amount of money, but yet she's got unpaid taxes from years ago. Okay, so but let's worry about taxing the rich. Let's wear an ugly dress to go tax the rich. Okay, when again you want the rich, you want the wealthy to pay more taxes. Very simple solution. Okay, fix the tax code. That's all you got to do. But they don't want to do that either, right? Because again, God forbid they would have to live up. Okay, I buy physical metals all the time. Yes. Okay, they are a percentage of my portfolio. Elections with headed towards China seems to be, well, I mean, listen, China's going to take Taiwan. You can bet on that too. Again, when everybody let Hong Kong go through with a whimper, okay, because that was not the deal that was made when it was turned over to China. Okay, and so what do you think? Is something's going to change? They're already building new alliances without us. Okay, and with the idea of dethroning us as the king of the world, so to speak. Okay, but again, you can, if you sit there and do nothing about it, what do you think is going to happen? Okay, but we have a market that is again that has been selling off. Okay, and again, it's not been dramatic, but it is in a bear market. Okay. And we have very little growth and very little opportunity for real growth. Okay, because if you think about it, okay, growing is what? Basically just buying goods and selling goods, right? Okay, you got to grow somehow. Well, there's no goods available. Okay, since we don't manufacture much here, and we've become a dominated service country. Okay, and of course you're depending on the Chinese, who would love to stick it up our ass. Okay, again, you don't think their 100-year plan includes taking over? Okay, is the world power? But the West, it's the West. Of course, it's the West's own fault. Okay, look, I'm not blaming anybody but the West. Okay, I mean, look, I'm blaming those who are in power now, but those who were in power before as well. I didn't like the whole give it all to China to begin with. I believe that true Americans, okay, would be very happy if they had to pay a little bit more for goods, but everything was manufactured here. Okay, because you would have what? You would have a higher earning potential. You'd have more people making more money, and it wouldn't be the artificial money that you earn, which is what you're earning now. Because I will bet you any number you want that equivalent, you look at yourself in 1985 and you look at yourself today, and you're probably making 10 times as much, and it goes 1/20th the distance in spending power. So what good does it matter how much you make if you can't buy anything anywhere, if you don't have enough money to pay for anything? All right. So you can talk all that bull all you want. At the end of the day, we have a problem. We are getting taxed relentlessly from an administration that is continuing to bring in money that we have no power of. You tie that together with the banking system. What do you think? Does anybody here really believe that these shit banks, that every one of them passed the stress test? Does anybody here believe that? Okay. I know that's what they told us, but does anybody here really believe that? Because I don't. Okay. I guarantee you, when the stuff hits the fan once again, and it always does, there'll be banks that have to be bailed out again. And who did get caught paying the bill? We will, because of course they're too big to fail. God forbid we should let somebody go out of business. You know, I don't see them going to any of the small businesses that needed help during COVID and bailing them out. Okay. I see them, kowtowing. And this is the real irk of the current administration, is I thought that the Democratic Party was the party for the small business. Okay. Well, in my lifetime, there's never been so much destruction of small business in history that I can account for. Okay. Purely based on the policies of this administration. Nobody has destroyed more small business. Okay. So, again, I thought that they were supposed to be the party of the little business, but apparently they're not. Okay. Because they're putting them out of business, and they're making it so that just paid $6.99 for a half a gallon of OJ in Florida. Isn't that amazing? I'll tell you. Okay. And it's only going to get worse. I mean, what do you pay for a beer down there now? You better save your shekels. I mean, but at the end of the day, again, we have all of these addition add-ons. Okay, and they're talking about ways to save money on gas, a gas holiday. They're blaming everybody else. But at the end of the day, the solution is very simple. But they don't want to take the simple solution. So now what's going to happen with Nord 1 being shut down? Okay. And what do you think? That's their number one supplier. Where are they going to get the gas from? Now, if we were fracking and shale producing, we'd have plenty to ship. So not only could we be profitable and have all those big jobs and people working, but geez, we could actually supply the rest of the world. Because we were, just a couple of years ago, we were the biggest exporter in the world. We're the biggest producer in the world. Okay. And we were paying, $1.49 in some states and as high as $2.50 in others. Now you can't, it's hard to find gas under $5 anywhere. I'm sure there's a few states, I'm sure Texas, but again, in the general view, when you look at it over the big picture, you're probably from 5 to 7, depending on where you live. Okay. So, that's real money out of your pocket. That is real capital that you're spending. Okay. And if you're driving for a living, if you got to go to work, maybe you're a salesperson, what piece of your commission are you giving away now to drive to get there? Yeah, I know we can use Zoom, we can use the phone, but there is nothing like face-to-face contact if you can do it. Okay. It's a lot harder for someone to say no. Okay. Gas like 477. Oh, well, you're up there in Minneapolis. All right. I'm 477. Okay. So call me a liar for 23 cents. I mean, I gassed up myself. Okay. I go to there's a grocery store chain here, no membership, but they're always by far the cheapest. They were I paid $4.65 yesterday. Okay. but everywhere else is 535, 580. Okay. And of course, we have a big tax burden on gas as well. And of course, what the geniuses don't recognize is that, let's just say we'll use a flat number, 10% flat tax. So if it's $2, it's 20 cents. If it's $4, it's 40 cents. So you're adding a big percentage on just because of the rate of tax. Okay. And again, I get so sick of all the crap that we deal with here for really virtually no reason. Okay. It's just, the solution is so simple that it makes me want to puke. Okay, that we won't solve our own issues. And again, if you're a green energy believer, okay, I can live with that. I don't believe in it, but if you do, okay, I'm not going to call out and say you're wrong, but I'm going to say how much of your wealth or how much of your actual spending power do you want to give up, okay, while you're waiting for them to solve this green energy? I will say that 90% of those on this call today will not be alive when that is done. Okay. That is my opinion, that 90% of us won't be alive if and when we ever get to green energy. Okay. So, again, I think you have to, question, at what cost is it worth? Problem is all the brainwashing with COVID crap starting out. Well, again, it wasn't necessarily brainwashing. It was, the law that they first initially set. Okay. And then the way that everybody now believes in it. And, the truth of the matter is it was all about money, like everything else. I've got two brother-in-laws that are both doctors. Okay. And one is far right and one is far left. Okay. So I get both sides. All right. And I just put it this way. Okay. They both agreed on one thing, that the COVID was crap. Okay. And that it was all about money. And if you actually did the math, okay, and took the cases of flu and colds from before pre-COVID, and then you added everything together, colds, flu, and COVID, you'd get basically the same number. Okay. Now, I don't know who's had COVID here or not. I've had it. Okay. And I would have never tested, except that I didn't want to go out in case I had it. But if I didn't miss a day of work for it. Okay. And I know for others, it gets more serious, but those are the same people that have an issue with the flu or any other respiratory disease. Okay. And not just COVID. It is any other respiratory disease they get sick from. It's just, what do you want to call it? What do you want to classify it? Well, I want to classify it where I can get paid as a hospital the most amount of money. Okay. Had it easy for my husband and me at a brain fart. Yeah, again, I could see that. The Democrats are the party of the Chinese guys, right? And big corporations like Big Pharma. Well, again, that's, again, the Republicans are not much better, right? I mean, again, I'm not going to sit here and I am definitely criticizing what's going on right now. Okay. But politicians in general are garbage. Okay. And again, I can't speak to every one of them. Okay. But they're always taking something from us. I think that's one thing we know for fact, is they're always reaching into our pocket. Okay. And I think that's obviously also criminal. Son of a bitch has misdiagnosed me. I remember that. Don't get. I remember that very distinctly, very clearly. Okay, when you were misdiagnosed. Okay, and it almost killed you. Okay, we blow ourselves up before. Listen, there will be a war, I think, before green energy. I think there'll be. I do believe there's another revolutionary war coming in this country. Okay. Again, I'm not a doom and gloomer. I'm a very positive guy. But I can see the handwriting on the wall. You cannot keep taking away from people. They're not going to stand for it. Okay. And, you've got enough wealth and enough money in this country. And right now, all the wealth, which would be like the the George Soroses of the world, or guys like that. Okay, they're on the side of the criminal side of what's going on. Okay, they're not. I'm not calling them criminals. I'm saying that they're on that side, that they want to continue to get high taxes, eliminate the opportunity for business to grow. And of course, if you think about it logically, why would they want that to happen? Well, because it destroys all future competition. Okay, many of you won't remember this, but Facebook and Google, before any of this happened, okay, went to the government and said, we want regulations on these industries. Okay, now why in the world would anybody want to be regulated? Okay, why would any big company want to be regulated? Okay, because it takes away the opportunity to get competition. You've seen an attempt. What was the name of that? There's two platforms that tried to come out. I forget their names already. They didn't even make it. Two Twitter type places, and nobody's ever tried to compete with Facebook. Okay, or maybe they have. I don't know. But in the meantime, they're not successful because, of course, the cost. Parler, thank you. Okay, the cost to get there is too hard. Okay, the swamp is not our friend. No, it's not. Okay, again, the rhino. I'm in full agreement. Okay, again, you're not going to get an argument from me about government. Okay, it's too big. It's totally against what's supposed to be. Okay, but the citizens of this country have allowed this to happen. Okay, and how many people do you know, whichever side you are, who have no opinion, probably don't even vote. Okay, so anyways, enough of that. In the meantime, they're bragging and celebrating a great job. Remember, it wasn't so great. And one of the big things about jobs, if you look at the U6 instead of the U3, okay, those are the categories. The U3 is 3 months, the U6 is 6. You will see how many people have left the payroll, the system. Okay, so you're not getting, and this is not a current administration problem either. Again, I'm going to tell you when it's directly here and not here. They've been doing this forever. Okay, the U3 is garbage. It's absolutely meaningless. Okay, it's the U6 that means something, that will tell you the number of people that have left the workforce, that aren't even looking for a job. Okay, and those are the things. Okay, thank you. I'm glad you're a huge fan. I appreciate it. Okay, those are the people that are problematic. Okay, but that doesn't show up. So we think, I don't think, but people think, oh, what a great job, and what a great job he's doing with creating jobs. He ain't creating nothing. Okay, and again, I'm not saying he's the only one. So I don't like him, but I've never liked him. I mean, he was always a dumbass anyways. Okay, this is not new. I mean, and he was always a racist. He voted for every racist bill in his 47 years. So, but anyways, that's besides the point. So the job number was just another piece of crap. Okay, there was no true growth. Okay, we are not creating jobs. The manufacturing numbers tell you that. Okay, the help wanted signs that you go through and you see everywhere are telling you that we're not getting jobs growth. Okay, 3.6 or 3.9%. Are you kidding me? Counted for real, you'd be probably closer to 20%. They count the jobs numbers the same as they do inflation. Okay, it's transitory. It doesn't exist, and then until it does, right? And so this goes back to the bank. Where are all these people paying for all these homes they bought and all these loans they have outstanding? And you may forget this, but in 2008, on the banking system, it didn't really fail, but they were, listen, the Fed screwed us plenty good, and they bailed out everybody, even though most of them didn't need to be bailed out, but they forced everybody to take money, which of course we got the benefit of paying for. But at the end of the day, why wouldn't they let them go out? Okay, they were over leveraged, and of course wouldn't you like to run a business that you could gamble all you want and get leverage out to your heart's content? And then if you go bust, the Fed will bail you out. Okay. Which means not really the Fed, because what does government create? Nothing. Okay. Now, again, government creates nothing but debt. Okay. They don't produce anything. They have nothing. They create debt. Right. So why would we bail out a failing business? That is the Keynesian problem. That's where Austrian or Hayek work out, because they work on the opposite side, supply side versus demand side. Okay. But why would any business be bailed out? I mean, why wouldn't you just bail out if you have depositors that couldn't be made whole? You bail out the depositors. But of course, that would be too simple. We want to make this and where you don't even understand what they're talking about. Okay. Lincoln Savings and Loan. Listen, but that was a deal that they took care of everybody else on the side. Lehman Brothers, they let go too. Lehman Brothers didn't have to go out of business, right? But they all hated Lehman Brothers, so they basically stuck it to them. Okay, I mean, again, this is the issue that we're dealing with. But the issue it creates back to the market, which is what we're here for, okay, is we don't have any goods. We can't get goods. I mean, I know there's some, but I'm a big Amazon guy, right? I don't want to go to the store. I want to just order what I need from Amazon. Well, now all of a sudden I can't get stuff now. Okay, now if Amazon ain't got it with all their connections and all their little vendors that are with them, what does that tell you? Now, what it really tells you is that the growth is slowing dramatically, which is going to force markets lower. How is any retail company or any sales company going to make numbers when you have no product to deliver? My daughter is a salesperson for one of the biggest medical supply houses in the world, independently owned. And they're not independent anymore. They were bought out, but they were at one point one of the biggest in the world, independently owned. They got no goods. They can't ship anything. So what good does it do? You can get all the sales you want, but you got to ship the goods. You got to get paid. And where's Walmart going to get their goods from suddenly? Okay, they're so dependent on China. And wait till you see the number of vendors that are going to get torched because of Walmart. If anybody knows how Walmart works, if you don't, I'll tell you. Okay. Walmart has obviously the money and the capability of manufacturing every good on their own. Right. But they use vendors for what purpose? Anybody know? Just out of curiosity. Okay. What purpose is Walmart use vendors for the most part? Not in every case, but for the biggest percentage. Because they get free money, right? It's the money. If you're a vendor for Walmart, you have to give them either net 60 or net 90. Okay. You don't give them that, they don't pay in net 30. They get net 60 and net 90. And if they really like what you got, they'll manufacture it themselves if it works. So they get to gamble on your dollar, okay, which you make very little on. Okay, if you're dealing with them, now you can sell in quantity. But that's what they do. Okay. So they're getting free money is right. Now, again, at this point, it isn't such a big deal, right? I mean, well, actually, money's getting expensive. But, so as we look, right? So we look at the dollar, right? And the dollar's exploding. Why is the dollar exploding? Well, the dollar's exploding because the euro currency is going to zero, okay? Because the dollar index, the American dollar or US dollar is still the reserve currency, which means that if there's some fear in governments around the world, they're going to be buying US dollars. If the Eurozone is really truly worried about their own currency, they're going to be buying some US dollars here. Okay. Small countries, that's where they run, like people run the bonds. The real asset is the US dollar, okay, as the reserve currency. So we've exploded monsterly higher. I mean, hell, since we were last together, which was 2 weeks ago, the dollar's gone from like $1.03 to $1.07. I mean, it's like a gargantuan move. Right? So, anyways, Connie, we're long dollars, 106.50 to 108 to 109. Let's go see if we can get an old number. Again, I haven't seen these prices for so long. It's been incredible. Okay. Here, you're probably looking at what, like 109 would be the next resistance level. Okay. And again, this is a self-created move. Okay, because we have governments buying dollars, devaluation of currency around the globe. Look at how weak most of the currencies are. Okay, and that takes us to the euro currency, which again I've said for how long did I tell you it's going to 88 cents? Okay, par first. Well, we may make it tomorrow. Okay, we may get the par tomorrow, which is $1. Okay. It's right now it's 192, but it's going to 88 cents or less if it survives. I mean, this is as nasty as a downtrend as you can get, and things in the UK are as weak as they can get. Okay, so this is right now there is zero support here. I would say 102.50 is resistance. I am not a buyer at any price. I mean, if you were going to gamble, okay, and maybe buy it at $1 at par. Again, I can never tell anybody not to gamble. I wouldn't, but that would certainly be a legitimate level. There's going to be, at some point here, as I told you last time we got together, as they were pounding on this, I told you that at some point there's going to be a penny or two rally, which doesn't sound like a lot, but a penny or two rally in these markets is $1,250 of futures contracts. Okay, for 1 penny. So, because they're based on 125,000. So at the end of the day, my eyes were going a lot lower, but certainly at some point there's going to be a dead cat bounce, a rip your face off type of rally, something of that nature. Okay. Are bonds going higher? I don't know. We'll get there, but I mean, they're going higher right now, but interest rates are not coming down. Okay. I think a lot of this is artificial, but again, we'll get to it. When we get there, Bitcoin, again, it's kind of dead right now. Bitcoin has become almost dead and buried for now. Now, again, I wouldn't say buried. I'm still a big believer. We're short. We've been short Bitcoin forever. Okay, but I'm a big believer in it overall, and I do think it's got a purpose, and I think it is more of the currency of the libertarian, and I think we're here because it's showing the lack of true money for investment. All right. Again, there's when Bitcoin, you got to come up with the money versus, borrowing and using all kinds of other ways to get your investment asset in. So in the meantime, look, it's in a downtrend. I would say you're looking at 18,000 to 22.5. All right. And again, it wouldn't surprise me if it went down to 10 or 15. It wouldn't surprise me if it went back to 30, 35. I do believe over time it's going to be much, much higher. No Andy tonight. Okay. So I do believe it's going to be much, much higher, okay, at some point. Now, again, it doesn't mean it's not going to 5 or 10,000 first, and it doesn't mean it's going out of business, right? Remember, I want you to always remember one thing. Okay, this asset class of cryptocurrencies. First of all, if you're involved, they better be the big ones, unless you're gambling. You're already gambling to begin with, but they better be the ones that have some market cap, because all the new ones. I mean, there's 82 billion. The different ones come out every day. There's a new one that opens up. But in the meantime, just know that you're at risk for your entire investment. I don't believe that's going to be a problem, but certainly I would never tell you to take money that is in your retirement account, like they're now advertising that you can have a crypto account as your retirement. Yeah, you want to take 10% of your retirement and put it in crypto? I don't have a problem with that. You never take all of your money, especially money that you can't defend, and put it in any one asset class. Okay, whether it be gold, silver, crypto. The only asset class you can get away with putting everything in one is the equity markets, and that's because we can actually hedge those to a pretty much mathematical certainty. Okay, so we actually can defend against movement. But in the meantime, anyway, so like 17.5 to 22.5. The bond market, yeah, it's flying. But again, is it really flying? It went to the top end of resistance and failed. Okay. And now we got to bounce. You got to bounce right off of support. Now we're short, excuse me, we're long bonds. Okay, we're long the long bonds. Okay. We're long bonds right here. I hate it myself personally. I don't like being long bonds. Right? Okay. I think they're going much lower because I think interest rates are going much higher. Nothing will take me. If crypto goes out of business, that's they'll make me stop believing. I will never stop believing it. Okay. I will never stop believing unless it goes to zero. All right. Again, listen, I've made my bet bones. I've always also told you that I'm perfectly aware that they can go to zero. Okay. And I've resigned myself that I could lose everything, but I didn't put that much in to lose, everything. This is a calculated risk based on my belief system, based on my hatred for the Federal Reserve, because again, they don't do anything but steal from us. Okay. So that is where I am. Okay. And that's why I want you to understand that again, but you must be prepared, okay, that it could, become zero. But price action now is nothing's going to change my mind until it goes to zero, and until they tell me it can't be traded. Okay. So the bonds right now, listen, we're long, which again I hate, but we're long, and I would say that we came down to support, which is about 136.20, and I think you're looking at 140 and then 142, but I don't think you'll see 142. I think 136 and change is as low as it's going. I don't think it's in a bounce. I believe if I were to handicap it, I think it'll fail right here at about 139. Okay. And then it'll take out this low here and then work its way down here. I think we're going significantly lower in the bond market as well. I don't see any reason to believe that interest rates are going to go back down. And since the long bond is directly correlated to the bonds, interest rates and bonds go opposite. So if you believe the interest rates are going higher, then this will have to go lower. Now, it doesn't have to go lower today. Remember, the correlation doesn't have to be today. Okay. The correlation will come into play over time. Just like, when I do a lot of the farming hits and they go, the dollar's really strong. I said, what's the difference? The last time the dollar was $1.08, corn was at highs. Again, eventually that correlation will play out. But when you need goods, if you got to get food, does it matter what the price of the dollar is? Okay. That's the real question you have to ask yourself. When you have to have something, does the price of the asset that you're buying it in, which is US dollars, does it matter? When you got to fill up your gas tank and you have to use its price in US dollars, okay, you're not going to fill up? What are you going to put in there? Water? So again, you have to, look at reality. So anyways, right now, kind of what I say, 136.20 to 139. Okay. Gold is in trouble. Now, the attempted bounce on Thursday and Friday was put down like a sick animal. Okay. I mean, it looks awful. Now again, could it rally? Sure. This could be the bottom, but based on the overall price action, I can't imagine this is the bottom. Okay. Now we're short. Okay. And obviously, happily so. But I'm never really short gold itself because I always have the gold in the safe, the gold in the drawer, right? And I am a gold buyer of physical metals all the time. I buy gold, silver, and platinum not a regular basis, but somewhat regular basis, 5 or 6 times a year. Okay. And I'm a believer in those as more of a currency or a hard asset. Okay. that should appreciate in value. But the pattern right now, the price action right now, to me, I think 1700 is coming next. Now, anything can change, but right now, I would say that resistance is pretty clearly at 1760. And obviously, we're seeing some support about 1720. But my target in my mind is next stop 1700. Okay, that's what I expect to see. Now, that would have no bearing on me as to whether or not I was going to buy as an investment today or tomorrow. I wouldn't be waiting for 1700 to be a buyer. If I was going to buy physical, I'd buy it right now. Because again, you remember, your objectives are different than when you're looking to buy that as a trade. If you're investing, the dollar amount or the price is not as important as when you're trading. Okay. So when you say, Brad, what is the reason the low volume in the grain markets? Because it's that time of year. Okay. It's you're in between planting and harvest. Okay. You know, and there's nothing going on anyways. And right now, you've got a bunch of idiots out there that think that they know what they're doing. And of course, we all know that there's going to be a food shortage. We'll get there. Silver looks worse. Okay. But again, obviously very similar. And we're also short silver. I think silver is headed for $18. Okay. And maybe lower, but right now 18 would be what I could see next. Now, certainly it could hold 19. Okay. I would think that you'd want to be a seller at 20 if it happens to get there. And I know all the manipulation guys are out there yelling and screaming about the manipulation. And somebody sent me the JP Morgan article that, you know, the guy's on trial, which is as old as the hills. And again, if they were truly taking the price down, there'd be no buyers. Okay. Again, you just have to buy into the fact that it takes a market to get a sale off. Otherwise, the price would just drop. All right. If it was totally manipulated, they would just sell it. Nobody, there'd be nobody to buy. Right. Meantime, silver would be like 19, which is right where we are, 1850, and then 18, and at 20 would be where I'd be looking to sell. Platinum, well, my favorite, platinum, continues to get hammered. Now we don't trade this anymore because it's not liquid enough. But I was actually looking at buying some today. Okay. I mean, you know, this has been just unmercifully beating the crap out of it. Okay. And you know, it's got some value, but you know, what is true value? Okay. What is true value? The true value is what can you pay it for? What can you pay it for? What can you sell it for? That's value. Okay. Nothing else matters. Whatever you think about it. Okay. I think I'm getting a bargain. Maybe I'm not. Okay. Maybe I'm way overpaying. Okay. But you're supposed to play. Yeah, I buy platinum. I buy more platinum than anything else right now. Okay. To me, it's on sale, and maybe pretty soon I'll be on sale because I have so much. All right. But I think platinum is right by far the best bargain on the board right now. But that, again, I'm talking about physical platinum, but I buy them all. Okay. So it's not like I'm not a long-term investor in the precious metals, and I do not. I own zero mining or gold related stocks in my long-term or IRA or 401k, whatever you want to call it. I wouldn't buy a gold stock or a silver stock in a portfolio for long-term for any reason ever. Okay. Because at the end of the day, I personally do not believe that there's enough gold and silver in the world to reach the amount of paper. If everybody claimed they wanted their gold and silver today, I don't think they could get delivered. Okay. And I think that will be the eventual price hike that will start making them go crazy to the upside. But in the meantime, right now the trends are down. And why would I want to fight that? Okay. If I'm trading, again, there's investing, which I never look at, and there's trading. Okay. So platinum, anyways, platinum would be, I think 800 is coming next, but right now, 820 to 900. Okay. Copper, again, as I continue to say, I thought it was going a lot lower, and here we are. Okay. Now, it has found a little bit of support, but also remember, okay, and for those of you who day trade with me every day, we watch this exact pattern today from the other side, but markets go to a certain point, they stop, they consolidate, and then they make a move. And typically, in this kind of pattern that you're watching here, the easy assumption and the most likely path will be to continue to go lower from here. This is a classic setup to go down. Now, again, I'm not guaranteeing it's going down. We're short. Okay. So I will always give you my position, but I can't ever guarantee anything. I can't even guarantee I'm getting up tomorrow. Okay. But if I am getting up, you can bet that I'll be at the health club at 1:30. That you can bet. If I wake up, and I don't mean if I don't use an alarm, but if I ain't up by 1:30, I'm probably dead. Okay. So anyway, this is a perfect setup that could we go up to 358? Yeah, sure. Okay. But there's a greater probability that you're going to see 325 and then maybe $3. Okay. And again, price action can change at any time, but it ain't changing today. In the grain markets, oh, God, these are brutal. Okay. This has been the most ridiculously traded market. Now, there's been zero volume for quite a while now. And again, we're in the period, right, between planting and harvest. After July 4th, it's typically quiet, not this quiet, but we have seen some wicked swings back and forth. And what I find interesting about this is, listen, everybody's got a reason. And I go, well, we're short. I would prefer to be long, but we are short. And I look at it and I go, pretty inexpensive, especially because I think it's going a lot higher. And especially because I believe, and I would bet on that there's a food shortage coming. And I don't understand, again, is this going to be like oil that nobody paid attention, and then all of a sudden you're paying $10 for a loaf of bread, or you're paying some ridiculous price for something else because, again, the commodities themselves, the production of these keep going higher. Okay. At some point, there's going to be a shortage. Okay, we already know we're going to be short, basically. Okay, unless Mother Nature is absolutely perfect, and that doesn't guarantee that we can produce enough, even under those circumstances. But let's say it's close, but we still have future. We still have growing populations. We still got people that got to eat, and you've already got riots breaking out, okay, throughout different parts of the world that depend on grains from like Russia. Okay. And again, what are we going to do then? And suddenly one day you'll walk in and corn will be $12. Okay, now I just won't have it one day because of limits. But my point is that like everything else, we ignore it, hoping that it'll go away. And we know that it doesn't go away. Nothing goes away that easily. Right? And the issues, and right now, price, and remember, price will dictate the market. I can't dictate it. Okay. But preferably, I would rather be long than short right now. I think that corn will see $10 or higher. But right now, we're short. And right now, I would say, 670 is the upper band, which I actually said last week on RFD. Okay, and I said $6 is probably a buy. Okay, as a trade. And of course, you can see those are the two levels, 6 to 670. And it isn't a challenge to see. And somebody asked this morning, will the gap fill? Well, I mean, it'll eventually will fill. I don't know if it'll fill out right. You don't necessarily have to fill right now. Too many people count on too many stories about gap filling and gap trading. Most of it's a bunch of horseshit. Okay, let's be frank. Price dictates everything. Okay, we know that if it gets too far extended one way in one direction, it will normally go the other direction, even if it's for a few days or a few hours. Again, depending on what time frame you're watching. But overall, okay, price dictates everything, and that's what you really want to watch. the meantime, 6 to 670 in corn. We are short soybeans again, and they both were up pretty strong today. Here, let me just go back to corn. The corn was up almost 20 cents or over, and it closed up 5 or 3. Soybeans are up like 25 or 30 cents. They closed up 8 cents. Again, you're in a pretty ugly pattern. You know, beans would be about, about 15.67. Now we're short. Okay. Beans would be about 15.65 at resistance and about 14.40 or at support. And it sounds like a big range. It really isn't that big. I mean, these things can move, a ton. And again, we're short, and if certainly the pattern justifies it. But the one justification I can ever come back to is, what are we going to do when people come running and are hungry? Which takes us even more to wheat. Now wheat got hammered again. It's been working its way lower. It got up to almost what, $14, right? Okay. Now we're back down in the nines. Okay. And this is the biggest crop that's affected by what's going on in Ukraine and Russia. And yet prices go down. So you cannot fight price. Okay. So as many cases as I can make to you as to why they should go higher, this is where people get in trouble. Okay. They want to convince themselves that wheat's going higher. And I do believe it's going higher, but I don't believe it's going higher right now. And I do believe that there'll be plenty of time to participate in the rally that's coming when it's time to participate. But right now there is more pressure on these grain markets. Okay. You can pick a reason. Okay. It doesn't matter. Again, when you have to start figuring out a reason as to why something is happening, means you have no idea, no understanding of how the markets actually function anyways. The markets function by the price that is determined based on a market system. Okay. You can say that it's manipulated, you can say it's whatever you want, but at the end of the day, when the market closes, it's an inanimate object that only tells you what the closing price was for that day. Okay. And then it reopens the next day at whatever time it opens, or it's open 24 hours, depending on the product. But price is absolute. Okay. It doesn't matter what you think. It doesn't matter what you think you know. Okay. What we do know is that grains are higher, and not today, but overall, and prices at the store are higher. And the beautiful thing is that the wholesale grains, or the grains that we trade, move much faster than price at the store. Somehow the prices at the store go up much faster, okay, and they never come back down again. Okay, so what does that mean? They start making more profit. Well, we're paying more, and of course our farmers are getting less. Okay. Anyways, wheat, I would make eight to, believe it or not, it's a giant range, but 8 to 9.60, $8 even to 9.60. Okay. And interesting enough, and I thought this was really interesting, in the protein complex for cattle and hog market, but feeder cattle, which is usually negative or not very strong when corn is rallying. And although it was down, let me go to the other chart for these for you. Hold on a second. Although feeders were down early, they really charged pretty high, and we're still long feeders. Okay. And again, they look pretty good. Okay. They look pretty good, but I would, if you were to ask my honest opinion here, I would say that I don't think they can go much higher. I'm not saying they're going lower. Okay, remember, there's a difference between saying we're going down. I just don't think there's much more room on the upside. I don't think that the consumer, with the price of everything else, can support much higher prices in cattle. Okay, and at 175, okay, we're pretty much fairly priced, in my opinion. Okay, now we're long, but that has nothing to do with my opinion. Okay, and in the live cattle, okay, had a nice spike move up, which we're happen to be short live cattle, but we had a nice spike up here. But again, I don't think it can go much higher. Like I said, anything can happen. Okay, is your screen dark? What screen? I'm not. I don't have dark screen as far as I know. Is it dark for you? You're my analyst. I got to make sure you can see. Okay. Okay, no, but I got my, this is my natural gas and coal expert. Okay, thank you. Anyway, so again, I look at these prices and I go, I'm not going to get short, right? I mean, I am short, but I mean, I'm not going to make a decision based on what I think, but I don't see a lot of room to go to the upside because there's too many factors to the average consumer that is costing them too much out of pocket money that is going to prevent them from buying a steak and things like that. And we'll see. I mean, again, this could all totally blow over. And of course, hogs, they're, in my opinion, fairly priced as well. Again, I think the entire protein complex is within a couple of percentage points of fairly priced. I don't think there's a lot of room to go on the down upside. And there's always a lot of room to go down or up, but I don't think there's a lot to go on the downside right now either, unless there's an event that changes the overall dynamics. But I don't see that happening. So if I were to look at this, these would be products that I would assume are going to stay somewhere within a couple of percentage points either side, back and forth. I don't think they're going far. Okay. Now again, I could always be wrong. Again, there's no guarantee, but as I look at it, I see not much happening. Okay. And I don't see the market can support much more higher prices because again, I don't think the consumer's got the money. All right. And again, going out to a restaurant is pretty damn expensive. So thank you. And thanks everybody for answering, but I just want to make sure because natural gas. Now another explosion today or a pipeline burst, whatever it was, and of course, coincidence or on purpose, there's always the question, right? I mean, and unfortunately, we have to ask that question because Russia shut down Nord 1 as a scheduled cleaning. Will they open it up again? Okay. Will Nord 1 open up again? Okay. That is Germany, basically. Okay. That is the pipeline that Biden got all bent out of shape about, a year ago. Okay. And of course, God forbid we should have pipelines and, not have to pay these ridiculous prices. But, what can I tell you? In the meantime, we're still short net gas, and it popped pretty good today. But overall, I would say that 660 would be resistance, and I think 530 would be support, and I think we're going back down. Okay, I would suspect that this rally was more based on the pipeline versus anything else. Again, patterns can change at any time. I can't see the overall future, but for my money, based on what I'm looking at here, okay, I mean, we are still in a downtrend. We have reached back into natural gas is a little bit more wild, but a slight consolidation phase between 550 and 650. I would suspect that it's going to fail from up at this top end level, and we'll see. Not here we go. Nord 1 is down for scheduled maintenance. The Canadians sent the turbines back despite the pensions, and the Russians' current accounts for revenue are at all-time highs. They won't show up. They won't show up everything. Right. I got that in my headlines. Again, another guy reading my headlines. Now you're right. Okay, they won't show off the money, but they can dictate the terms of how they want to be paid that money. Can they not? That is what they've done with the ruble all along. Okay, this is the country that's in default. That their currency is exploding and they're prospering. In the meantime, 550 to 650, and we're still short. Crude, we're still short. And today was pretty interesting. Crude was getting hammered early. Okay, it was down to about 100.88. Okay, and then it popped and it came all the way back up to, look at that, came right back to resistance at about 105. Okay, I think crude's really 95 to 105. I mean, that's a wide range, but again, remember, we moved today. We turned around today $5. Okay, so it's not like it can't go there. Remember, the faster prices move, the more volatile they can become. Okay. Now, overall, in the bigger picture here, as I've said before, I still believe that we're going to all-time highs in crude. But it doesn't mean we can't go on to 91st or 85. There's something, that's going on. And of course, our genius with the strategic reserve, okay, sending it to Asia, that's a smart thing to do with your strategic reserve. Send it to your enemy. That's a great place for it. Okay. But whatever. Okay. Anyways, 95 to 105. And in the softs, cocoa, we're still short. It's still in a downtrend. Now, again, this could change tomorrow. I don't know. But the overall trend is pretty nasty. Okay. And we have made some pretty good money in the cocoa markets. Okay. I don't know. That might have been August I was looking at, sir. I don't even know. Okay. To be honest with you, hold on. I can tell you in a second. That was August. Okay. I'm still trading August. Okay. But you want to know what the price of September was? Oh, gotta go to a different chart for that. I'm faster here and remember this better. I'm looking at August. That's August. Okay. And if you look at here's I don't know active one. I'm all. There's September is 156 cents. And you can see it's in pretty nasty backwardation. Okay. Because there's still a lot of fear in the front. This is what this current administration has created, is the fear in the front. Okay. Anyways, cocoa, I know we don't actually put them in the notes, but 22.80 to 24. Cotton now is found potentially a bottom, but look at the drop from $1.50 to 90 cents or less. Okay. Now I think this is in trouble. I think, again, this is a very tricky time in the commodity world, okay, because should the equities start to continue to come under more pressure once again, I believe that the commodities will really take off once again. What we saw recently was some other types of fear and what was going on with the interest rate markets and all kinds of stuff. And we got a little bit too carried away with the soft commodities. They ran them relentlessly. Now they clobbered them. But I think you'll see that we'll probably test a lot of those higher levels at some point. But right now we are short cotton. And I would say that cotton's 88 to 100. Sugar, which we're also short, popped a little bit. But again, really just back up to a resistance level. Somebody told me they paid $6.99 today in Florida for OJ. Well, I mean, look at the price. Okay. I mean, in trading places, it was 29 cents when it closed. I mean, this ties back to all the commodities. Again, it's, believe it or not, it's been a little bit stronger than many of the others. Okay. I mean, I wouldn't be thrilled to be a buyer up here anyways. Okay. Now again, I don't predict, but I'm not a big fan of stepping in at OJ at these levels. Okay. But we are short. In coffee, we're short. We got clock today. Right? And again, this is now broken down to a new level. I think for those who will trade this or watch this, the next key spot's about 211. And if it gets to 211, then probably 204. Okay. But this is certainly a pretty ugly pattern. Now, the steepness of this recent drop could certainly lead to some consolidation before it resumes down, right? You don't typically get straight down movement without something else. So I think we'll see how it plays out from there. And again, we don't trade lumber because it's totally illiquid, but it did find a little bit of a bottom around 500, and now it's trying to move up again. I think there's some lumber stock. Again, I'm not a big fan of it, period. Okay. I just watch it because it's more of a bellwether to what the overall economy is. It's kind of like Dr. Copper. Okay. And some of the key resources that we need, for building and for things like that. And, when you start to see these prices change, and then certainly the interest rate environment, we've seen mortgage rates drop recently. Now they're still very high, but we've seen the rates drop recently. Why? Well, because the demand for housing is dropped. All right, I'm going to stop this one. Okay, is that a blow-off in feeders? No, not enough volume. Okay, not enough volume in feeders to call it a blow-off here. Okay, I mean, again, we're looking at a market. I mean, if you're going to trade it, for you're an owner as well. I might look at it a little bit differently. Okay. Because you're also a farmer at the same time. So, but I mean, I don't trade feeders actively because they're just not as liquid. Okay. And again, is it truly a panic buy, or was it just happening to be a buy? And again, if I was day trading it, right, I would look at it as a loss, but as a longer term trade, I'm not like enthralled with that potential or possibility. All right, let me stop this recording and we're gonna get the next one started. Give me a second here. My girlfriend talked to me. Yes. Okay, thank you, honey. And let's go to record the cloud. And what's up? And welcome to, of course, Monday night. Now, of course, Monday nights become the Monday night marathon. And, what used to start at 6 Eastern now starts at 4:30. Okay. But anyways, there we are. And again, another week. And of course, last week was a shortened holiday week. And early in the week, it looked like they were going to clock it. And then suddenly, late in the week, they found a reason to rally. And today we resumed the selling once again. But what you're really seeing here is a real lack of interest and volume and people that are in participants in the market. And that's something to be, somewhat concerned about over time. But right now, again, we can only trade the market that we have, but you have to be prepared for anything. And we are certainly in a bear market. Okay. The people who shut down your business and killed your careers are now asking that you reelect them so they can keep their jobs. Never forget what they've done to you. Okay. Now that was pretty good, I thought. Okay. Now here they are. It's election time again. And let's evaluate. You don't have to have an opinion here, but let's evaluate what has happened to this country and this economy. Okay. I mean, I don't know about you, but I'd be a little bit concerned. That wasn't supposed to be there. My bad. I had a power failure in the middle, and I don't know. I lost some information. Anyways, as always, to our military, and servants, we thank you with all our heart. It's basically a thankless job, and of course, obviously, last Monday, we all know what happened in Highland Park, Illinois, which was right by my house, and it's a tragedy. And there they are, the law enforcement, and in this case, but our soldiers who defend us every day. So again, we always thank you, appreciate you. In pipeline poker, Canada folds will release sanctioned Russian gas turbine. Now, again, you knew that was going to happen. And is this a game? Okay, or are we going to see some serious change? And this nobody knows that answer to be 100%. But it's certainly something that seems kind of funny how Russia shut down, Canada goes up and opens up. So is there a little funny business going on? I don't know. I don't have the answer to that, but certainly I would not put it past any government to play a game, because at the end of the day, who gets to pay for the games people play? We do. French German leaders warn populations prepare for total cutoff of Russian gas as social unrest looms. Now, listen, Russia isn't going to shut them off completely, but they will obviously force prices higher. One thing about energy, right? It's kind of hard to exist without it, especially when you're not prepared for it. And the real question is, how long have they been working on, for example, solar power? How long have they been working on solar power for? How long have they been working on alternative energy products for? Okay. And we'd have to say 20 years, 25 years, maybe longer. And you really mean to tell us that we can't get farther than we are now if you really believe in it? Okay. But yet, here we are. Okay. Because why? Well, because like big tobacco before, big oil is the boss. Red states chart faster economic recovery than blue states. Well, doesn't that make sense? Blue states, you're paying so much taxes. Okay. That's why I had to become a resident of Nevada. Okay. My daughter got her first check. She lives in San Diego now. She started crying. The amount of taxes she's paying. But my point is that red states are more business friendly. They're not restrictive. Okay. You had solar in the late 70s, that's 50 years. Okay. Red states, look, again, I'm not making this political issue. It's just a simple fact. And if you look at it, okay, there's a number of non-tax states in the country, and there's many tax states. Why are the tax states always broke and looking for more, and the non-tax states flourishing? That's a pretty simple question. Okay. Alternative energy is about tax credits. Without the tax credits, the climate alarms go silent. You see that that's why you're here. So you give me those answers because that's correct. Okay. I mean, again, that is 100% correct. Okay. And it's everything's always about money. Okay. Don't kid yourself. It's about money. Okay. Or about destruction of the country. We got two problems going right now. In Macau, to shutter casinos for a week. What do you think that does to Wynn, Las Vegas Sands, and that industry? Okay. Crushes them. Okay. Of course, they were both down 10% today after already getting hammered. And again, does anybody believe that it was really COVID related? Okay. I mean, considering that they sent it over here in the first place, okay, it was a manufactured disease, not an actual disease from monkeys or whatever they tried to claim at the original. So do you not believe that that China is playing games with the government of the United States of America? Okay. In my opinion, I'd bet on, okay, that this is nothing more than a game that they're playing, that they're jerking around with. Okay. But again, I could be wrong, but certainly all signs point to a problematic setup that should not be happening. I mean, we're pretty much fully open, are we not? Now, are you telling me that they suddenly have these massive cases that they keep shutting down? Or are they shutting down to prevent the United States from succeeding? Interesting. Anyways, the words of wisdom from our friend Connie. You can't cross the sea merely by standing and staring at the water. I mean, what better can you say that, right? If you don't do, you can't get there. You know, not like popular belief, there ain't nothing free. Okay. Life ain't free. You want to get there, do something. Okay. You want to trade. Okay. You want to do something else, do it. Whatever you want to do, but you got to put some effort into it. Okay. Can't just stand there and look at it. You know, as you know, my classic line is there ain't nobody on the street corner handing out $100 bills. And of course, you had a number of State of the Unions. I chose two. Okay, here's her first. Comforting to know that China has amassed the largest navy in the world, where we focus on race, gender, and which cartoon character could offend. Sleep well. I mean, you got to admit, it's a little bit ridiculous what's going on here with all this stuff. Okay. And to give Rapinoe the Medal of Freedom or whatever it was, God help us. Okay. And this one I found was really interesting. And this is, of course, if you follow the Brittany Griner story, okay, the professional basketball player, okay, the woke basketball star wasn't just a national anthem kneeler. She didn't even go out on the floor when it was played. She didn't want to give America or those who fought for it. Okay. Hey, Brittany Griner, do you respect the national anthem now? Okay. Now here, you have all these cases over the last few years, okay, of disrespect to this country, but yet when they get trouble, who are they depending on? Great ones, Connie. I mean, again, this is as far as I'm concerned, they can leave her there. Okay. In the meantime, as I've been bitching forever, but I get one more. Okay. And of course, my bitch is the political double standard. And you know, I'm so sick of and this goes to all parties. The double standard in which we live under, from the money we make to the creation to the health care that we have, the statements that we can make. It's getting to a point of past ridiculous. Okay. And it's sad that we're letting these imbeciles, these American haters, okay, destroy the greatest country in the world. I mean, there's still, with all my bitching, there is still no better place in the United States of America, but they're certainly pushing the envelope as far as they can before I think people rise up. Right, exactly. Keep her in the gulag. That's where I keep her. Anyways, all right. So now we'll get back to the markets and what's going on. In the meantime, as we look at the futures, all right, because we use the futures as a representation, the YM Yankee Michael, which is representing the Dow, pretty flattish, came off some support. You got a kind of a case maybe for some higher lows, but you've also got, you've got the pattern which suggests a much bigger move, and I think that move is going to be lower. We are still short, and I think that you can see that the lack of activity. If you remember one thing, dull markets will tend to drift higher. Okay, dull markets will tend to drift higher, which is kind of even today. Over most of the day, in fact, the Dow got positive at one point today. But right now, I'm not a buyer at any price, but the support would be about 30,500 and resistance is about 32,000. Okay. And I would be a welcome seller at 32,000. Okay. And that is based on how we get there. And again, remember, whenever I give you a level, okay, I can only conclude that both parties want us to kill each other. Again, I'm not a fan of either party. Okay. 30,500 to 32,000. And of course, the S&P Echo Sierra, same pattern. Okay. It's really, I would say, 37.40 to 39.40. Now it's a big range, but remember, we can move 50 to 100 points in a day without a problem. We've seen it many, many times. And certainly when the markets get thinner, moves can be more exaggerated. Now the trend is still down. We're still short. The bear market is here, which does explain some of the slow trade, some of the vicious rallies. 37.40 to 39.40. And the NASDAQ, again, this is more in a consolidation phase and is really kind of failing at resistance. I would suspect that, I would have a hard time believing it'll get higher than 12.4 if it gets even that high. I have a hard time believing it's going to go much higher than where it is right now. Okay. And I think that support is probably 11.5. Again, I think you're going to see some pretty good destruction in tech once again. I think that was only an appetizer. Volumes are brutal. Okay. But they have been getting lower on a regular basis. But in a bear market, they're also going to be low. Okay. One of the problems in a bear market is you spend a lot of time not doing much. Okay. You get some selling, explosion, bear market rally, which is good for the hedging. Okay. And then they drift lower, and you end up with lighter volume because truly less participation. Okay. But anyways, 12.4, 11.5 to 12.4. And the Russell, Romeo Tango Yankee. Again, you can notice they're all pretty much in the same pattern. And you're looking at about 1690 to 1790. Now the Russell has been a little bit stronger, but they're all kind of now in the same pattern. As the market slowed, okay, you start to settle in, and you can see we're really just in consolidation. And of course, we get these some days like last week at the end, you had markets that were lower, then late in the day, boom, they get a big rally. Okay, that is always the jeopardy, okay, of a dull market, of a bear market, is because there is less volume to participate. When the shorts get squeezed, they panic immediately. Okay. Now, again, it's truly a selling opportunity, but as they're ramming them up your nose, you're not feeling very good about it. Okay, and that's what makes the market overall. But overall, we're short the four major indexes, and I can only imagine that they're going a lot lower, in my opinion. And again, I'm still looking for 50 to 70% before it's all done. Okay. And again, it's not tomorrow. It's going to take some time, and the election might have something to do with this as well. And we'll see. Again, the election is being priced in as one way right now, but that is not the end all be all. Remember, that's only a news item at the time that will cause some immediate reaction. But overall, where are we over a longer scale? And we're certainly in pretty bad shape at the moment. Okay. All right. Apple, Alpha Papa Lima. Okay. We reversed today Apple to get long. Okay, not that it makes me it thrills me, but certainly again you had the rally come up. Okay, we got a little bit steep, which obviously triggered us in, but I would say support's probably 143.50. I think your first test of resistance, other than where it's at now, when it was a 147, is probably 150. Okay, and again, we are now long it. Okay, and again, I could see a rally. Okay, I could also see it fail. Again, I don't predict which ones are going to make the moves and continue. Okay, but we are long from right around here. Yeah, I mean that would be, the open today was about 145.67. Okay, so it's a little bit lower on the close. Anyway, so it'd be like 143 to 150. Okay. Alpha Golf, which we are still short. And again, remember, yes, I talk about this, and yes, we carry a short position in it right now. But also remember that I would never short this on my own doing it, this kind of number. The reason that it's in the portfolio at all is for when it becomes a buy. Okay, because this thing could certainly double, triple, or quadruple in a heartbeat if silver ever moves again. But of course, the way silver is going. But right now, what you're watching this is a slow, dull drift down, and the cheaper it gets, the harder it is to move it. Okay, but again, we're not going to change our position. But I would never, and I'm making it clear, I would never short a $6 or $7 stock ever. I would trade options in our portfolios, but if I was trading just totally on my own, looking at stuff, I wouldn't be looking at $7 or $8 stocks to short. I'd only be looking at those to be a potential buyer if there was a reason to buy. In the meantime, you got about 650. It's about 650 to 7, Connie. It's pretty narrow, right? Pretty skanky, 650 to 7. And AMD Alpha Michael Delta, which we're short. I got earnings coming out soon, but it looks pretty pathetic. Again, it had a little bit of a bounce, not a shock. We expected to see a bounce. To me, it looks like you got pretty solid resistance about 80. Okay, and you've got support somewhere around 70. And again, if you got back to 70, would I buy? I mean, I'm not really a buyer of anything right now for my trading business or for my, unless I'm hedging it. Okay. But it doesn't mean that I wouldn't take a trade, right? I mean, I trade every day. We trade together with my members in futures. So we buy and sell every day. I don't have an opinion. I'm going to trade what the price tells me. Okay. But AMD, we are short. And I think that the chart's pretty clear, 70 to 80. Okay, so we're at the upper end, and I would look for it to fail. Amazon, Alpha Michael Zulu November, which we do not carry a position in it currently, but I'm going to add it back here shortly. But right now it's pretty flat. I would say it would be short if we did carry a position in it. Full disclosure, I own it in my hedging account, but I think that you're looking at probably 118 as resistance and down about 105 as some support. Now, obviously, Google will be back on our list. Does anybody know the split date of Google off the top? Yeah. Google will be back in our list as well once it splits. I think it's 20 or 25 for one. In the meantime, again, 105 to 118. BABA, which we're long. Ouch. Okay. And of course, obviously, China, 20 for one, 715. That's Friday. Okay, thank you. BABA got creamed today along with the rest of the Chinese world. Whatever, is it the Macau shutdown? Who the hell knows what's going on? In the meantime, we're long it. It got hammered. Will it change? I don't know. I don't have that answer. But as I stare at it right now, you get, just right around the 110 area. If it's going to stay as support and 125 or so as some resistance, and I don't think it's going to change, but it certainly could. Okay, again, I can't always read. This is a one down day, and I don't know where the trigger point was looking at it. So again, right now we'll just say around somewhere in the 105 to 110 level, but again, right, this is right it, but it's got a hold here. Okay, and of course, Bravo, India, Tango, Oscar, which is strictly, we have not made a trade in this. I actually own it in my own account. I'm not hedged. I own it naked. It is a ETF that tracks the Bitcoin, okay, through the futures market. So this is a way to play Bitcoin if you choose, if you're afraid to go into the crypto wallets, all the other stuff. This is a way to play it, but it has not. The real reason we're trying to watch it is to see how it creates, if it ever creates a what they call a backwardation or contango pattern. And right now, it only trades 1 month at a time. So there's really nothing to do here. And overall, it's pretty dead, just like Bitcoin. And if I was looking at this chart, I would say, $14 resistance, about $12, $11 support. And I do own it. And again, this is kind of like my Bitcoin position. I'm not selling it. I don't even look at it, to tell you the truth. Okay. And then BitQ, which is kind of like Bitcoin soup. It's an ETF of a lot of the miners. I don't know, 50 or whatever, there are a bunch of them. And again, they're all in the same dreck and garbage as Bitcoin. Okay. They've all gotten hammered over time. And will they rally back? We'll see. Bitcoin comes back, you can bet these will come flying back as well. But they have, gotten crushed. If you go back, this was at like almost $40, now $6. Okay. So again, if you're buying these right now, and we carry no position here either, if you're buying these right now, you're buying because you feel like gambling. Okay. That is the only reason that you would be purchasing one of these right now. Oops, sorry about that. That you would be purchasing one of these right now is if you decided you want to take a shot on Bitcoin. Okay. And not that I have a problem with it. Okay. Again, it's just that, just know it ahead of time that you're gambling a little bit. Okay. Chewy, Charlie Hotel, Whiskey Yankee, which were long, and it actually came beautifully out of this consolidation pattern and started to move its way up. And it's looking like it's found a bottom for now. I mean, it continues to charge forward. Okay. Now, where's the next real level to watch? Looks to me like probably, 50-ish. Okay. 46, 47, 50. But I would think 50 will be the next big target to try to get to. But I do think that as you look at this, it's gotten a little bit too fast. Remember, they call it the speed of the market. And I think the speed here is a little bit too quick. The rally from 35 to 43 is a little bit too fast. And it would not surprise me or shock me at all if you saw the markets go sideways between, say 41 and 46 for a while until the rest of the chart gets up, because the angle should be more on this pace, right? So I don't think we're going to come straight down. I think you're going to see as this rises, we're going to consolidate for a while. But we can go anywhere. It's just an opinion based on what I can see. Okay. In the meantime, Connie, 40 to 50. Coin, which we're still short, and it continues to get hammered. But it's more like a dead patient, okay, on a table. It's got no heartbeat. Okay, it's directly correlated, even though coin is like a bank, right? And in fact, your cash funds in coin are guaranteed, not your crypto funds. Your cash funds are treated like a bank. It looks awful. Now I own it. Okay, I got so many shares. I'm gonna be the owner one day. Okay, but it looks awful. But it is maybe starting to hold. But it's going to be. Remember, this is like a broker, like a bank. When Bitcoin becomes in vogue again, if it starts to rally again, the brokers have to rally because it gets more business. That's where they make more money, because they're really the bookmaker. In the meantime, we're still short, and based on this, it looks like 45 was the support, and it looks like 60 is the resistance. Now that sounds like a big move. It isn't as big as you would think, and just by looking at what the option volatility is pricing in. Okay, I mean it's pricing in a $10 move either way for next week. I mean for this week it's almost $6.50 for Friday. Okay. So when you think about that, it fits right into the numbers I just gave you. Okay. So keep that in mind where you're at. Again, I'm in this because I'm hedged, not because I'm gambling. This one is, it's a liquid stock. I can hedge it, and I'm not afraid to accumulate more. DraftKings get hammered. Okay, and this is going to come off. I just haven't figured out how to do it yet. We're long this, and again, it gives you hope for a minute, and they stick it up your tushy. Okay, and here we are. I mean, I don't know. I own a lot of this, unfortunately, and it's going down. I mean, again, I'm basically just hedged against it, plus what's in the portfolio. But to me, I was wrong. I think this has got one alternative, and that's a takeover, and that's starting to take longer than I'd like to see it take as well. Okay. I think 10 to 13 is the levels to watch, but certainly, other than if the portfolio triggers a buy or a sell, which obviously right now, and it'll probably come out of the portfolios as well. But right now, we're long, and it looks ugly. But I would suspect that this would potentially turn to short tomorrow. Meta, which is out of alphabetical order, but what used to be Facebook, Michael Echo Tango Alpha, and it continues to be struggle, and the trend continues to be nasty and down. And again, just like where we were 250, and we just continue to trend lower. Now we're at 160. And is there any reason to believe that suddenly it's going to go up again? Now, I'm sure at some point it will, but is there a reason you have to believe that it should be bought here? Okay. And this is the beauty of hedging, okay? Because you could buy it here if you wanted to. If you wanted to be an owner in this, you could buy it here. Why? Because again, you can hedge it. So you're knowing to a mathematical certainty where it's at. But in the meantime, 155 support, 170 resistance. And I'm assuming that earnings are not that far away either, but it certainly does not look very good. It does not look very healthy, in my views. Good for Zuckerberg. He should get it rammed up his ass too. First Solar, Foxtrot, Sierra Lima, Romeo, which we are long. Now, I think they have earnings coming up in the next couple of weeks as well. They've come nicely off the bottom. Okay. And now I think you're looking at probably 65, maybe even 67.50 as support. And I think your 72.50, which is where we just failed from the other day, is some resistance. But I think you're going to probably test the next 77. So I would make this kind of 67.50 to 77.50. GDX, Golf Delta X-ray, like gold, this is as dead as it can get. It's as quiet as it can get. And it is right now, it shows no desire to move. Okay. Now I don't own this. We trade it in portfolio. And interestingly enough, we never got long. We've been short the entire time. And again, this is some of you like to own this long term. I'm not a fan. Okay. Again, you can hedge it, do it around, but I'm not a fan. I don't think the gold stocks should be in your long-term portfolio. It's again, it's an opinion, not a fact. 67.50 to 77.50. It looks like you're probably going to find some support around 26 in GDX. Will it hold? I don't know. It looks like 26 to 28. I mean, this is not on the top of my agenda to be one trading because it's not active enough either. Okay. So Goldman, which has earnings on Friday, right? Is that right? Or is it next week? I'll look it up. I know it's JP Morgan is Friday, so Goldman Sachs must be next week. That must be the story. Yeah, it's next. All right, it's next Tuesday. Oh, next Monday. Okay, right after JP Morgan. So again, we have a position in Goldman, which is short. Okay. Again, I would, if I did not trade this regularly, I would not get involved. I would call it neutral. I think it's kind of in a tight little range, not waiting. Then you get the bank starting on Friday, I believe. Okay. So I'd call it neutral, but we do carry a short position, and it ain't changing. It ain't changing today. I promise you that. IWM, India Whiskey Michael, which we are also short. You'll hear that. But predominantly, we're short a lot of things, right? In the meantime, again, I think you're looking at 177 on the upside, and I think your support's about 167, and we're just kind of stuck in this little bit of a trading range right now. And my suspicion is that most things will break to the downside Okay. Again, I could be wrong. So we're not making any massive predictions. Mara, Michael Alpha, Romeo Alpha, which is one of the cryptos we do carry in a portfolio. Okay. And we're still short this. And again, it did pop a little bit on Friday, I guess. And now it's kind of sitting here. But I would think $8.80, $8.90, $9 is resistance. Now, again, I will never naked short the stock. I will never naked short a call option. And I don't mean maybe never, I mean never. I would never take the exposure on a product like this, even though my sources is going to $3. Okay. I would never take the exposure naked short on a stock that is correlated to like cryptocurrency, which could be as crazy as can be. Now you want to buy puts, you want to create a position as one thing, which is what we do in our portfolios, but I would never be naked. I don't sell, like I said, I don't sell $7, $8 stuff. I mean, it looks like $9 is resistance. It looks like it's probably like $6.50 to $9. And NEO, which got hammered today as well, another Chinese stock. We are long. Okay, and really, where is it? When you look at it, it's really consolidating between like 20 and 23. Okay. Now, again, I don't know what the purpose of the shutdown was for. I don't know how it's going to react. Later, I don't know what we're doing. But again, certainly the selling in China was, at least that'll be the excuse that will be given. Okay. In the meantime, 20 to 23. Nugget, which we've never reversed either, continues to get hammered. And of course, these leverage ETFs, not only is it going down, but it's decaying like a big option every day. At some point, this is going to be a buy, right? Like if I thought that gold was going to reverse this week, I would gamble on like a nugget. That's where you'll get a big bang for your buck. But I'm not encouraging you to gamble. Okay. But it's only a trade. I mean, it's a trade you keep for a few days looking for a quick pop. But in the meantime, we're still short. And I would say 35, okay, and then 30 is support. But again, there's no reason to buy it as it continues to vacillate and waste away to nothing. Okay, so 30 to 35. NVIDIA, November Victor, Delta Alpha, which we're short. And again, this is like every other chart you're seeing. The patterns continue to go lower. Okay, and this is right on line. Okay, without getting too far away. And I would say that now your resistance is probably 155 to 160 and supports at about 140. Okay, don't be surprised if it breaks through there too. Penn, another pig. Okay, this is another gambling stock, which is, again, these are problematic. We misjudged these and misread the situation. And I've explained to you how I did it. Okay. But again, it's too late to change it now. In the meantime, we short this. Okay. And again, I would stay away from these in general if I wasn't already in. Okay. And I think you're looking at probably 28 to 34 or so. But if you said to me, would you trade these stocks anymore? And my answer would be no. Okay. I would stick with the win and those versus these. These are not going to get out, okay, anytime soon because they just cannot make enough money. And believe it or not, they're still giving money away, okay, which doesn't make sense. But I'll be opening some accounts when I go to Denver on Wednesday because of all the free stuff they give you, all the perks. Okay, so I will have a DraftKings and another couple of accounts when I get to Denver on Friday and Wednesday. The Qs, Quebec, kind of sideways, but trending lower, and we're short. I would think you're looking at 290, 275 to 290. Okay. 275 to 290, and I don't see any. Again, to me, there doesn't appear to be anything worth looking at thinking that we're going to see a turn. Now, at some point, the markets will rally again, and we'll see some vicious rallies. But right now, the trend is just down. I mean, there's no real. You can't even think of a real reason to push higher. And let's see what these earnings start to look like. Which is, in my opinion, the earnings will lead the next leg down. But we'll see. Riot, Romeo, India, Oscar, Tango, which we carry in no portfolio. And I'm going to take this off, Connie. You don't have to do it. I mean, this is purely a speculative trade if you want to gamble in Bitcoin. And I don't know if this is even any good. They really kind of reversed with Mara, and this looks like it wants to go to zero, which is what my source says. And my source is somebody who trades it every day. Okay. I think we take it off, Connie. Roku, Romeo, Oscar, Kilo, Uniform, okay, which we reversed to long today, and of course it's not lower. It makes sense. Okay. But it did push up high enough, and I think that look, it's like 85 to 95. Okay, it's really in big consolidation. I'm not a huge fan. Okay, I think these COVID stocks, I think they wore out. They're welcome, and obviously we've been well under 100 for a while, which was the kind of the benchmark we were watching. Meantime, 85 to 95, and Square Dance, Sierra Quebec, okay, which we are still short, and of course this just continues to go lower. I mean, it shows no desire to move up. Not that I won't go higher. Again, I believe in the company. I own it in my retirement account. I think you're okay. But again, the stock itself got up to 300. Now it's back to $60, okay, and probably headed lower. But right now, as you look at it, it's probably 70. I would say probably 60 to 70 right now. But I'm certainly not looking to buy it as long as it's in the downtrend. There's no reason to want to buy something that's trending lower. SPY, Sierra Papa Yankee, of course, we're short this as well. I would say 395 to 375. Okay. And I think that that's pretty solid. And again, obviously you can see that volume is dried up and left the building. Tango, Quebec. Again, very little action. And of course, these kind of dissolve on their own as well. It's a leverage ETF on the Qs. You want to look at these, I'd say 22 to 22 to 30. Now, again, if you decide you want to gamble on the Qs and get long, this is the product I would use if I was going to gamble. Okay. I'm not gambling, but that's the product I would use. Tesla, what happened? It was flying to the moon. And as we said, it looked like 800, 750 to 800 was kind of the range, right, on the top side, and 650 on the downside. That has not changed. We're really just stuck since we did last time we chatted. When Whiskey Yankee November. Now this would be a blow off pattern from today. Obviously, this is tied right to Macau because they're so sensitive to Macau. We are shorted anyways. I would say that probably 50 is a level to look at. Okay, from a trading standpoint, I do own this in I'm short it in my trading account. I'm own it in my retirement account. I think you're looking at probably 50 to 55 right now. XBI, it has had a nice little rally off of the bottoms, right? Off the little bottom here. Now we came up and found resistance, which is what we thought might be, and it looks to me like we're probably 85, okay, and probably 75. Okay, 85, 75. Okay. We carry no positions. I don't have any levels for. Any position size, and for Zoom, which we don't trade anymore, it is back towards that 100, but really just kind of churning around in a consolidation pattern. I'd be looking to sell it at 120. I think this is probably 100 to 120. Okay. So again, remember, it's just time to be careful. There's no real reason to get overly aggressive in these markets today. We don't have a lot of action, so why would we want to get overly aggressive? And if you have any you want me to look at, I'll look at them real quick for you. Okay. But again, I'm warning you, just keep, as they say, keep your powder dry. There's no reason to be overly aggressive in here. American Express, Alpha X-Ray Papa. It looks okay. It's, in a downtrend for sure. It looks to me, I know you might want to hedge this. Would I hedge this? Sure, it is. Okay. Again, I think, it's under pressure. You got earnings banks, but, I'm confident that they'll make money. Would I buy it here? Only if I were going to hedge it would I buy it. Okay. If I wasn't going to buy it here, I'd let it come down farther and wait till it turned and changed trend. PG was at Procter and Gamble. That's a good safe spot to be. Always need toilet paper. And down to the bottom, not going to suck sideways. Look at this is not my idea of something that I want to trade actively. For your hedging account, I think it's fine. Pays a dividend, pays the whole deal. Again, to me, it's right up at resistance right now. Again, this is probably a greater likelihood to break down from here than to go up. Not that it won't go up again. I'm just saying from here, based on the pattern. Okay. Now we all know that even through, the big sell-off, they went down as substantially as well based on their normal percentage. And, and we still know we need their goods every day. You got it, brother. Have a great week. GIS, GIS, who is that? Do I know that one? I think I know that one. I can't remember what it is, but I think General, that's what I thought. General Mills, look, it's a good, steady, safe kind of stock. Okay, pays a dividend. It looks great here. I mean, it's one of the few that are breaking above and breaking out. Okay, certainly, if I was trading it, I have no problem trying to buy it at 75. Okay. You're welcome, my brother. Twitter, TWTR. And I told you that deal had a good chance to fail when we put it on, remember? Okay, and boom. Listen, I was never a player on Twitter. And the deal may or may not be dead in full. It is dead as we speak now. It's supposedly dead, but I don't know if it's dead or not. I wouldn't trade this piece of shit for anything. Okay, with anybody's money, except for when we sold or we bought a double diagonal. But I would never trade. To me, this is garbage. They have no chance overall. And I could be 100% wrong. That's my opinion. This is where my opinion is taken over. Sorry. Can't help myself sometimes. Okay. Anyways, listen, guys, just have a good week and be careful. I'll see a lot of you tomorrow. But overall, just be careful out there. There's no reason to be aggressive here. Make sure you put yourself in position to make money. The best trades right now, other than short term, are to be hedged. And other than that, have a great week, everybody. As always, I thank you. We'll see you later.